Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to whenever you're listening to us. We are the Imaginary Friends. I'm James.
And I'm Ben.
And we want to talk to you again about Malifaux. Ben, what do you want to talk about today, or what should we start with?
Well, we'll start with the MWS.
Fantastic.
So obviously our listeners will know that we're mid-season through the ban event.
Yes, now 3 rounds nearly finished.
So James and I will be talking about our games, and they're quite interesting games.
Yeah.
So we hope not to bore you, but we'll start with some data-driven reporting from Longshanks.
Oh, Ben, I do love some data.
You do indeed. So have we seen the same dominating Tomicals?
No.
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 Do you think this is people making optimal decisions, or do you think people are also getting into the spirit of the event and trying to play different things?
I can obviously test for myself, which is very much the latter. However, it's been really interesting. So there is still no single master that has been played more than 3 times.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, so obviously in round 1 we had Lynn, that was played 3 times. Round 2, no other masters made it up to 3. Since then, we've had Fang Foreman, played 3 times.
I thought I was being special.
No.
I
You're
really wasn't.
Damien is up to 3 as well. He was previously on 2, so he's been played once more. Not a single Bayou Master is up to 3. There's a couple on 2. Nexus, one of many, has been played 3 times. Pandora being played 3. Tara Voidcaller being played 3 times. And Dashel 3 as well. But that's it. So we've still had a massive different variety. End of round 2, you may remember, we were up to 37 different masters had been played. We're up to 49.
So I'm going to use talk about something we don't often talk about: enjoying ourselves.
Oof.
Now
we don't just play to win.
Well, have you enjoyed this event, and have you enjoyed it more than some of the events where we were seeing the same teams over and again?
I've certainly enjoyed this event. I've really enjoyed playing some different stuff, both with and against. And, I mean, it does get to a point where you've played Fang Sentinel of Steel for the 6th time in 10 games, and you are a bit bashing your head against the brick wall. So, in that instance, it is nice to see the variety. It is nice to see different models on the table.
If they did it as a every other event, would that be too soon for the bans?
Ooh, are we going to try and make a suggestion here?
Well, we're celebrities, James.
This is true, with our 10 followers.
The people want to hear what we have to say. So in terms of just enjoying it, rather than what should, what could, if the MWS had every other event was bans, we could look forward to playing different things, but also practice the more competitive things.
Yeah.
Would we? I mean, we would play it anyway because
we would.
But would that work for us?
I certainly don't think that's a bad idea.
I suppose the second question is, there were lots of different ban formats being discussed.
There were.
Do we think this ban format has worked?
2 great questions. So firstly, I do like every other. I like that idea. I think that gives those super competitive that want to only play the top table stuff ample opportunity to. But it also gives everybody else... but it gives them... I mean, we're fairly competitive ourselves. So it gives us a chance to play perhaps non-crazy stuff.
Well, we, of course, play every Friday, and we tend to play non-crazy stuff into each other.
Yes.
We then play it hyper-competitively.
Yes, we do, which is always entertaining. Although you played Mar recently on some evenings, and
Mar's terrible.
Mar's OP.
Yeah.
Especially when there's a certain frog on the table with Big Brain Brim.
Yeah.
But no, I think 1 and 2 is a good frequency, a good amount. I'd possibly suggest and would go with you on that.
And do we like you could only ban one of the masters, you couldn't ban more than 2 masters?
Absolutely. So you can't just get rid of an entire keyword. And look at Mei Fang. I mean, the second Mei Fang has got a positive win rate, 2 wins, only 1 loss.
Yeah, it was played by me.
Well, that was only one of those games.
Oh. No.
So apart from you, it's still got a 50% win rate.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, fairly fair.
I think the data is so small, and jokes aside, if you take the perhaps 6 most consistent players in the event, what they pick as a faction is going to hugely skew the performance of that faction.
And, I mean, 10 Thunders, for instance, are still crushing it at the top. They've got an 82% win rate, 14 games, 11 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses.
But I made this point in one of the discussions on the forums, or is it a forum? On the Discord thread. And if you take the 4 players who have been very consistent with it, and you said reassign 2 of them to a different keyword, then that changes quite drastically the performance of that faction.
It would do. The question is, would those players who are still very good players, would they do as well?
Well, there's definitely a difference between some players who have demonstrated that they can play any faction and do reasonably well. And then there are others who have done very well with one faction, and it may be that they can replicate those results with other keywords or factions, but have yet to demonstrate that.
Or certainly not as consistently with others.
Yes. And like I say, we're not going to get personal about it, but there are certainly some players who have been more consistent playing their preferred factions with all the models than this time, though I think it's also very important to say that the sample size is so small.
Yeah.
And if you get a bad matchup, you get against a very good opponent, 1 loss, if you're used to winning 4 or 5 games, skews your overall performance massively.
Very much so. Yeah, it's really interesting. And what do you make of the format in terms of this ban 4 from each faction?
Well, I've not really noticed any difference because every single person has banned Lindy Storyteller and Mei Fang Sentinel of Steel.
Yep.
So I obviously knew that going into the event.
Does that mean that you take those 2 out? And is it a reason why Thunder's doing so well? You've taken out those 2 masters, but the rest of the faction is still really good. So is it the fact that Thunder's actually only really have 2 bans?
So I don't like Yasunori, and I know I'm in a minority here.
When you say you don't like him, you don't like to use him?
I've never played him.
Okay.
I don't think he's that great. And I'm sure that if I had played Yuko more, I'm sure I could be persuaded otherwise. But I certainly wasn't ever going to take him out. I say he's a versatile, isn't he?
He is versatile.
I wasn't planning on taking him in any of my...
Is that because he's only min 2 and you love to beat people's faces in with min 3s?
No, it's that he's how many points? 9.
9 points.
He's 9 points. If we go back to a previous episode, and we were talking about the importance of support models.
Yep.
I don't like paying 9 points for a support model. I don't like paying 6 points for a support model.
That's fair.
So, if you imagine 2 calligraphers versus Yasunori, and I remember discussing this with Nico, I can use a calligrapher activation 1 to push up 2 models.
Yep.
And then have the second one ready to respond later in the turn.
Yeah.
Yasunori, you only get that 1 activation.
You do.
So I'd need his output in terms of repositioning my models to match 2 calligraphers or 2 5-point models. And he doesn't move 4 models.
No, but he does do a lot more than that in terms of he's very hard to kill, butterfly jump,
but he's only got 4 activations.
He does.
So you're paying for the premium of him being able to do lots of different things. And just say, well, if I played better, I would know what model I wanted them to be, and that would be the job I'd get them to do.
Fair.
I mean, I'm being unfair because the having flexibility is really good.
Yeah, and he will get all 4 activations most likely. I've only ever seen him killed once, and that was I killed him, but then I was a bit unfair because I used Alice, who just ignored
butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, sure, but in terms of that turn 1, do you want him to move your models up, or do you want him to rescue people, or do you want him to score a scheme? What do you want him to do?
He's a very, very good scheme runner. Speed 7, flight.
I suppose perhaps if you compare him to the emissary, he's that 1 point more, and he does do a lot more than the emissary.
And a lot tougher.
And it's a lot tougher, but it's the fact that he's not a keyword model.
Fair.
Anyway, so I don't particularly, perhaps it's just the way I play, but he doesn't fit any plans of how I want to play.
Fair enough.
If I want to score a scheme, I'll do it with a scheme runner.
Yeah.
And if I want to move models around, I'll do it with a cheaper support model. And I suppose, sure, if I was playing UK, that would be different. But
yeah, because he's then in keyword at least.
Yeah. So, nonetheless, perhaps because the power of TT was in Lin, Storyteller, and Mei Fang, Sentinel, both of those keywords have demonstrated that they can be playable in certain circumstances with the other keyword.
Yeah, with the other mark title.
Now, if the power of the model was, say, from the Hunters, you could ban the Hunters and that stops both Hoffmans.
Yes.
Now, with TT, because you have to ban those 2 masters because the 2 masters bring such power to the board.
Yeah.
It means that you don't have room to hit any of their other parts of Foundry or Red Library.
Yeah.
So actually, if you take out the Hunters and you take out both Hoffmans, they're one whole faction less than they would be. Whilst TT have all of the factions available to them.
Yeah.
You just have to play specifically with the bands that most other people have taken have been, as I say, Yasunori, sometimes the Emissary, and Monaco Ray.
I know your last one you had Monaco Ray. Though, did you listen to Grog's very clever podcast?
I did.
He did. He didn't explicitly state why he banned Monaco Ray, but actually it's very clever.
Well, he planned to put Stun out with
Yeah.
Anya. So Grogdog was very interesting in that he thought a lot about his band in terms of how he intended to play, as opposed to more generally.
So by banning Monaco Ray, it removes one of your biggest condition removals. So he can then put out more stun.
I'm not convinced the condition removal is worth taking.
Well, if you want to hear more about Grogdog, he does of course have a fantastic podcast. He's very kindly bigged us up. I thought it was only fair to mention him as well.
Yeah, well, we'll obviously talk about our game more later in the episode. So I think Ten Thunders have had quite a deep stable, and I don't think the bands have necessarily. They've taken the top 2 dominating masters out.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of the other masters that we've seen winning have been overpowering. I think they've just been quite consistent on the missions that they were being dropped.
And played by top players.
But nobody was playing Lin Discotheque in Informants.
No. Which is really interesting, actually, and that's possibly why we've seen a greater variety of different masters.
Because the masters who can play everything
have been taken out of. And hey, I'm loving it. I am loving seeing different things.
So speaking of different missions,
yes,
we were playing Boundary Dispute Wedge.
Boundary Wedge, it was.
Search the area, detonate charges, public demo.
Yep. So,
quick recap from our scheme episode last. Are any of those good turn 1?
Detonate charges isn't bad. Very action heavy, especially on Boundary, we spoke about, because you need to kick the markers over and then drop 3 schemes. That's a lot of AP needed. You dislike public demo. I quite like public demo still, and had planned, and in fact did plan on taking it. No more spoilers from me though on that for the moment. So there's a couple that are doable. They're not ideal.
But they're not the worst.
They're not the worst. They're not unplayable garbage.
So the theme of today's episode is going to be about having a plan. So I had a plan that I'd thought about a week before the pairings went live for this round, and I had to wait to get the pairings before I could discuss my plan with James, because I'd wondered if I was going to have to use it against him.
Yes.
So my plan was to play Fang Foundry, who plays quite differently to Sentinel, and I really wanted to use the Boilermaker. So
Boilermaker's cool.
So my thinking was with the Boilermaker. So in fact, I shall do the classic podcaster thing and read cards at you. But the Boilermaker projects threat, which
does.
On a wedge deployment. Wedge is obviously extremely aggressive, because you're only 12 inches away.
Yeah.
So 12 inches away, the Boilermaker has a portable portal. After an ally ends a move in base contact with this model may drain a stone to place that ally anywhere within 6 of this model. So Fang has, as part of her crew card, all uniques gain a TN5, drops a scrap marker, which is hazardous, that has a AoE of 2 inches, so a 5-inch blast of... Everyone needs to make a TN14 speed duel.
TN14?
And 14 is really high.
That's really high.
It's not limited to once per activation.
Right, so you spam it.
So you can spam 3 of them.
Beautiful.
It's a signature. And of course, you also get your tactical actions on a pos flip if you have shield.
Of course, why wouldn't they?
Which, of course, your entire crew is.
Yes.
So your TN5 on a pos flip, and you just sit there and drop 3 or 4 shockwaves. And so we will talk about this more later. But so my plan was thinking boundary. You want to be able to put pressure on them before they have a chance to interact.
Yep.
So I was going to activation 1, move the Boilermaker forward 6, so 6 away from their front.
Yep.
Drops hazardous scrap markers in front of them to prevent them coming through.
Nice.
And then just shockwaving in front of the team.
Love it.
Activation 2, Fang charges the Boilermaker, teleports 6, completes her charge.
Yep, then makes the attack. So you do your move portion of the charge, you end that move portion basing the Boilermaker, you then place before making the attack.
And then the attack, you stone, so it does 3 damage, stone trigger to remove a scrap marker next to you to make a gammon.
Nice.
And then make a gammon on their scrap marker to prevent them moving it.
Nice.
And then she would drop 3 shockwaves on their entire team.
Fair. That sounds absolutely fair and reasonable.
Activation 3, Kang does the same thing and drops a charge attack plus 2 shockwaves. And then you have 3 steel workers to just play the mission.
Who happen to be Speed
8.
Speed 8 steel workers, of course.
They're there.
But they don't have a signature move or anything, do they?
Onwards on a 7.
Oh, onwards.
Which is quite steep, but they obviously get on a pos.
But they have a pos flip because they've got shielded.
I failed it so many times. So many times. Anyways,
Good.
So that was my plan, to put a
Excellent.
huge amount of pressure on their deployment zone, prevent them really being able to unpack, have a massive fight, punish, because on wedge you're hugely clumped up, so the shockwaves are hitting 5 or 6 people.
Nice.
And you just do a huge amount of damage.
Love it.
So I plan to win the game before actually having to play turn 2.
Fantastic. That sounds great.
And you had a plan as well, James.
I did have a plan. I liked my plan.
So what was your plan, James?
So I wanted to take Lady J2. And I thought it'd be really cool because she summons don't turn your back models.
Okay.
And
so a similar kind of idea to mine.
Yeah, and obviously but hers don't turn your back models are hard to kill, they can stone to stay alive, and they're generally quite obnoxious.
So I mean, you're thinking 3 AP to kill them.
Yeah,
Because one to get them to hard to kill,
one to kill
them, one to stone.
Or potentially even 4 because they've got 5 health. So if the first attack only does 3 damage...
Oh, they come in on 5.
They come in on 5.
So actually, 4 AP, and if you summon 2 of them, that's 8 AP.
That's it.
Which just prevents them playing the scenario at all.
Precisely. So really looking to try and shut them down. So my plan was to actually go with Lady J first activation, move up, summon 2 of them on their flank points, kind of move my stuff up. I was actually planning only to get one of my markers over the halfway line turn 1, because one thing Lady J doesn't have is many scheme runners. So I'd kind of looked at it and gone for a cute little, I can move up, I can interact, move up with some of my models, drop in corpse markers, which they can then, next turn 2, they can then interact, walk, interact, to actually kick the markers very safely into the opponent's half.
Quite deep. So
they
more than one activation to get them cleared.
Again, so really trying to tax my opponent's AP. So even though I knew I was either unlikely to score the strat turn 1, but I was hoping if I can tie their strat markers down and get one of my own over, that might be enough.
Yeah. But you're thinking 8 AP to
kill the 2.
Them. If they miss an attack or 2, then even more. But then also they've got their scheme runners are man marked.
Yeah.
And it just becomes very hard for them to play the mission.
That's right.
So what team were you facing?
Oni.
Okay. So certainly a keyword that's seeing a bit more love because of the bad event.
That's it.
So what kind of... So it's boundary disputes.
Boundary disputes.
So what were you expecting to face?
So Oni has the Tengu, who can interact, move, interact, of course, with the leaps and stuff. Can be quite quick. The mother to summon a Don't Turn Your Back model, which can be really obnoxious, but...
Am I the only one that plays the other Asami?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
So yeah, I was expecting quite a wide list with lots of different models, possibly some of the Don't Turn Your Back models to start with, and just to have
probably quite a scenario focused.
That's it.
Don't turn your back, Tengus.
Yeah, it's Boundary, so yeah, definitely expecting that.
Okay, so I was playing against the Grog Dog.
Of course.
He was playing Anya.
Yeah.
So I didn't know he was playing Mono Syndicate, of course, from his podcast.
Yep.
But I knew what I wanted to play anyway. So I was expecting Rail Magnet, whose her totem has Don't Turn Your Back.
Yes, she does.
And so you end up with 2 operatives, Corvus, that's looking at 5 Don't Turn Your Back models.
Yeah.
Lots of the bays. Generally quite very schemy, very scenario focused. He
mentioned in his last podcast actually the Don't Turn Your Back thing, and how in his previous game on the board there were like 10 Don't Turn Your Back models.
Yeah, so certainly Syndicate have the ability to do that, but I was also reasonably happy that what I didn't want to see was incorporeal, which means my shockwaves are only doing 1 damage, or armour. So actually Rail Magnet, and I was thinking there would be an opportunity to intercept because she wants to obey her own models.
Yeah.
So if I can cut the tentacles off, the head then has nothing to control. So if I can isolate and kill pieces, then that reduces. But actually, possibly quite vulnerable to having 10 shockwaves dropped on her head. Activations 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So
we've both got a plan. We know what we're expecting. So
what was your opponent's list?
So my opponent's list was. So you know what I thought it was?
Yeah.
I was so far out.
Oh.
Not even close.
But you're really good. You're really clever.
I was certainly less clever that day.
So what was the list? So how many Tengu?
None.
How many? So the emissary for scenario?
Nope.
The dragon that aforementioned for scenario? Nope. Not 6 killers.
Basically, yeah. So he had out of keyword Metal Golem.
Oh.
Which is an interesting one. It's something we spoke about in the game and after the game in particular. I'm still not sold.
We both think it's terrible.
We do. It's cool in some regards, and the hazardous it brings, and you obviously know your scrap markers.
I didn't take the Iron Golem when I was playing May.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sold on it.
But it is I don't want to call it an efficient beater. So presumably the idea is he can charge, put a scrap marker out for the charge movement.
Yeah.
And then you cheat in a crow or
Yeah.
power a crow, so you get +1 damage and you get to move them, so you become a -5.
Yes.
And then your second attack, if you've got the crow, is a -4. So
Yeah.
you're doing 9 damage.
In 2 swings, which isn't too shabby.
So it's, in terms of what we like for beaters, we like reliability rather than top-end potential.
Yeah.
Because we're sort of now pseudo into Magical Christmas Land.
Yep.
Because perhaps the issue with the Metal Golem outside of May Sentinel of Steel is you don't have a bonus action move.
Yeah.
Which means that you're threat 9? Threat 8?
9, reach 2.
Reach 2. So, realistically, unless they're coming into you, you're moving and charging, so you're getting 1 attack that's doing 5 damage, which is not impactful enough for 5.
For a 10 cost.
For 10 cost. I mean, you do have then the option, once the scrap marker's down, if you've got other people that then move them into the scrap marker.
That's it. That was one of his big things. So a lot of his models would aim to move my stuff about as well through the hazardous to do extra ping damage. So I can see the logic. I can see the combination.
So he's going to have Lady Yume.
Yep.
He's going to have the henchman that I... Shall I attempt to pronounce?
Yeah, go on. This is always fun. I love hearing Ben attempt to pronounce.
I just so I do apologise to any listeners.
Just everyone, Ben. Just apologise to everyone.
We'll call it Ohaguro Batari.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good attempt there.
That's not awful. So that's 9. We've then got presumably Storia Suzuki.
Yep.
Lady Yume. So what's that? 24 points. What was the rest of the list?
So obviously Kamatachi.
Who took the higher the Kamatachi?
Yeah, Kamatachi's great.
I forget that people don't summon it because they play the wrong Asami.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Golem, so it's the 8 wide.
And then a yokai as well, who was his scheme runner, we'll call it.
Okay, fine. So in terms of a list, I can see focusing more on the wedge than the boundary.
Yeah.
And looking to win boundary by removing your models.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of hard to kill, and your stone going to be stone keyword crew card ability to protect yourself. Quite impactful when being hit for big attacks and low amount of attacks, but also the hazardous gets around
the hazardous gets around it actually really, really well.
Because that ping damage at the end.
That extra ping.
Okay. So, and I was playing against... So Grog Dog's list was, again, a little bit different to what we expected.
Yeah.
So it was Anya 1, which is the killer tomahawk carrying murder Anya, with Sovereign. Irina Keen, who is an interesting killer. We've talked about her on the podcast before, but she has marker removal.
Yeah.
So I did kind of expect her. A single operative, not 2. Winston Finnegan, obviously, because he's really cool.
Yeah.
The Brawler, who is sort of a weird min-3 hybrid, pretends to be the emissary because he has the aura of damage reduction.
He does.
But it's only once per activation.
That sounds far more fair than the current...
Corvus Rook, a rifleman, and the Bellhop Porter. So again, as discussed, the Bellhop Porter was there because it wasn't just enough to remove my token removal. He brought token removal himself because he was concerned about the amount of stun that I could apparently put out.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't look like Rail Magna.
No, that doesn't.
It doesn't look like the scenario list that I was expecting.
Yep.
I mean, Anya's a min-3/min-4, Irina's a min-3, the Brawler's a min-3, and Corvus Rook's a min-3.
Sounds fairly violent.
Fairly violent team. And I saw that and I went, ugh, it looks like we're having a big fight. Which is obviously I was sort of okay with, but So, your plan.
Yeah.
You open up your hand and
Yeah.
it's full of severes.
9 high.
9 high. You've got... Are you the attacker?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got activation 1.
Activation 1.
So, Lady J can run in and execute your game plan.
Almost flawlessly.
Flawlessly before he can even respond.
Yeah.
So you've got the first activation. You look at this hand of highest 9.
Yep.
And you look at the team.
Yep.
You could say that there were some signs here screaming, abort, abort, abort. Your plane is taxiing down the runway. Air traffic control is asking you, are you sure? What do you say, James?
Hells to the yeah!
So how did it go? So Lady J goes in.
Yes.
Because you've got balls.
Yes, absolutely.
Activation 1.
So let me just preface this. Now, firstly, hats off to my opponent. Absolutely quality player. Has been doing very, very well. Knows his stuff. Really good guy. And it was a lovely game. He was a lovely opponent. And for the record, he kicked my head in.
So Lady J goes in,
so,
armed with this 9.
Well, let me again. So I had my game plan.
Some weeks to empower with.
I did have plenty of weeks to empower with. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, so I had my game plan, and I'd had a bit of a rough week, and I stuck to my game plan.
Okay. So presumably, Lady J. We've talked about the significance of the centre or the middle.
So she goes and takes it.
So is she particularly tough? So
particularly is a strong word, Ben.
So I bring really brawly teams.
You do,
and I still don't go in the middle.
No.
So you go straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle
to guarantee that every single model that he possibly has can get into her.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Now there was some logic behind this.
You needed to be able to reach both his markers.
I needed to be able to reach both his markers, which I could do by then doing my SIG to drop a remains marker.
You presumably then had a model behind her ready to rescue her. Activation 2.
Oh, I've got no out of activation movement.
Oh, okay.
No.
So you send her into the middle and accept that she's going to stay there unless, of course, your opponent decides to move her to somewhere even better for him.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So Lady J goes in and makes 2 death marshals?
1. He flipped a 13 on the first defence flip.
Okay.
And I stood there looking very sad.
Going well played.
But I did get the second one out. His hand wasn't much better.
Okay. So did you have to use your 9?
No, I didn't.
You got to keep your
9.
I
got to keep it.
Okay, so you've summoned Death Marshal in base contact with who? In
base contact with his totem.
Okay, and his marker.
Because obviously his totem can remove a rift to gain fast, so actually becomes a scheme runner. So I thought that's the one I'll go for. So yeah, I was able to summon.
What did he do?
So his first activation was then to kidnap Lady J into basically his deployment zone.
With Lady Yumi.
Lady Yumi.
Okay, so Lady Yumi walks up. Chose to not draw a card, which is interesting.
There was no rift markers there.
Okay, so Lady Yume walks forward.
Yep.
Kidnaps her.
Yep.
Places her in base contact with the entire crew, and then proceeds to how many activations did it take or AP to kill her?
So Lady Yumi hit for 3.
Okay.
Then the Iron Golem went and hit for 9.
Who's living in Magical Christmas Land? Because there was something within 9 of him.
Well, he lived in Magical Christmas Land because he hit the crow every single time and flipped like a god.
We're not blaming the flips though, because you deserve it because you put Lady J in the middle of this team.
So in a lot of ways, I expected her to die.
But the more significant thing is that the Iron Golem got both his attacks.
Yes.
Because he didn't have to move.
Yes, I mean he was. Only have enough kidnap ability that if he wanted to, he was always going to.
Oh, yes. But it mitigates the weakness of the Iron Golem.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
But, so my master's alive on maybe 3 health in base contact with a marker, and he goes in and murders her with something else in 1 hit. And the issue being was he hit her for 3 and obviously got another push.
So you then have a henchman ready to promote.
Oh, I forgot to take any henchmen.
Okay.
Didn't have a single henchman in the crew.
Okay, fine. So, in terms of taxing his turn 1, you've lost your master.
Yes.
Does the Death Marshal do anything?
The Death Marshal manages to get... So how many AP did we say Death Marshal should get taken out? Take to
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Now, what if he's attacked by a min 1 model?
6.
2.
2.
2. There's this thing called a Black Joker in a deck, which I don't like to talk about often.
Oh, okay. Blaming the Black Joker.
I'm just saying it came up at some really inopportune times.
So what was the min 1 model?
His totem.
Oh, okay. The totem, to be fair, you put the
so that I put the guy next to
and said you can't interact, and he's like, well, I guess I'm not doing anything else.
I guess I'll just kick your head in, and proceeded to then do 4 damage with the first attack, because he does get raises on 3s.
And you black.
I think I just flipped. I think, did I black or did he red? It was a really bad flip, whatever happened.
Yeah, so 4 damage to the first
4
one,
damage to the
3
first
raises, and then the second one.
And then 1 damage on the next one, and he's still got another AP. And I'm looking at my soul stones going,
what's the point?
What's the point?
He can't interact anyway.
Yeah, so he'd done his job in some regards, kept him back.
Fine. So you've lost your master.
My summons.
And then what happens?
So I had inconvenienced him a little bit. No, so I didn't black. I didn't black on that flip.
Is that because the black comes later?
The black comes later, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Another very inopportune time. But the flips are what the flips are. I say now after crying myself to sleep for the last 3 nights.
Yes, well.
This is why we had to push the podcast back a day. I know it's normally on a Friday, but we had to push it back a day to Saturday today because I was still crying myself to sleep last night.
Okay, so you've sent your master up the middle.
Yeah, master up the middle. No support
whatsoever.
whatsoever, and she amazingly got killed. But the annoyance for me, I expected her to die. I didn't expect her to die in 4 attacks.
Okay. But if we were to try and be more constructive,
yeah,
and I go back to the abort signs coming up.
Oh yeah, totally.
I wonder if the team hadn't had a metal golem in, maybe you probably expect the lady Yume and the other killer, but they might be on separate parts of the flanks, covering more coverage, and you could try and find a zone which is a bit safer, and it would take more resources to kidnap her. Potentially has to move Lady Yume up to get within range to do it reliably.
Yeah.
Or against a softer team.
Yes.
You have a lot more safety in inconveniencing them.
Absolutely.
But you turn up and Izzy has brought a team of brick
murderers.
Yep. That might have been a point where we take a step back. We go, I had a plan. This plan is not good here because they have brought a different team to what we were expecting. And yes, it would be nice to inconvenience them. If I go in, I'm going to get utterly brutalised.
Yeah.
But actually, the weakness of his list was he's a lot weaker on Foundry.
He is, yeah.
But
in my concern, I'd only thought about Lady J a very little bit, and Master I've never used before. And I had one plan, and the issue was I only had one plan, and I didn't have time to necessarily think about it. I didn't have knowledge of the crew enough.
You had 65 minutes left on the clock at the end.
Yes, we can get to that later. But in terms of my knowledge of the crew, first time playing with them, I had one plan in mind. I'd had a rough week, and I didn't have the mental space to come up with a different plan at that time, and it was a massive shortcoming on my part.
So the important thing here is that you should have a plan.
Yep.
You should choose your team because it has a proactive plan that you want to execute.
Absolutely.
But just because you have that plan doesn't mean that it's always right.
Yes.
And when you see the warning signs on the runway, and again, we go back to previous episodes, we talked about the clan pits, where they have that one plan, and they go through that whirlpool, and if there's something horrible on the other side, then that's a them problem.
Yeah.
And we like the flexibility of being able to adapt and say you look at their team and you go, you know what, you are a lot harder than I was expecting, but you're going to be weaker on scenario.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall back, I'm going to play turn one differently, and I'm going to punish your inability to play the scenario as well.
Yeah.
And I think Lady J2 has game for that.
She got some with the amount of craven she can put out on stuff. She can certainly hurt this.
Or even just summon your Death Marshals at the end of turn one, not the beginning of turn one. And I know that when I was looking at Lady J, I was looking at the Pale Rider, who's not a great model, but my plan was going to be using the Pale Rider to escort Lady J with a double ride with me, get her hugely down a flank, and then drop a lot of shockwaves down a side, or summon things from a safe position.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever put her in the middle.
No, and that's fair.
And but again, that becomes extremely expensive because you're now paying 11 points for a taxi.
Yeah.
And I say it was something that was really interesting. I think she does have the legs to do it. But I think she possibly needed a little bit more finesse in this game than you gave her.
Oh, huge amounts more. As I say, I let her down. Izzy played it brilliantly and really took advantage of all the little
yeah, I mean, when you're playing the beta team, you have less activations, you have less movement, you have less bonus actions that move you. And so you need to get the most mileage out of your limited activations. So you go back to, we talk about your total activations per game. He has less because he's 8 wide or 9 wide, but he needed those killers to be doing their job, and it sounds like they were.
They did their job very well.
And the hazardous and the ping damage helped get around your defensive tech.
Yeah.
But again, was advantaged by the fact that you ran into him.
Yeah, as I say, we've spoken about it before, and I should really take our own advice at times. And yeah, throwing your master down the centre of the board, activation 1 against a brutally murdery team.
With a hand with a 9 high.
With a hand with a 9 high. On reflection, maybe not the greatest idea in the world.
But I was thrilled, because it beautifully illustrates all of the lessons that we've talked about in previous episodes. It's talking about positioning, talking about activation order, talking about don't turn your back, talking about action efficiency. We could not have asked for a better example.
It was a fantastic example of what not to do.
So James deliberately did this just for our podcast.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate you telling the viewers that absolute fact.
Quite. So, my game was similar in a sense.
So you had your plan. You were going to charge forward. You were going to throw down all these markers.
I was, and then I did a me. I went, there's a lot of beaters there.
Yeah.
So again, very similar. Grogdog brought a much killier team than a scenario team that I anticipated. I looked at it and I went, I don't fancy that.
Fair.
The Boilermaker went forwards. I mean, he did go forwards quite early, but I had no intention of going through that portal. Interestingly, I wasn't the attacker, which made that decision a lot easier.
Yes.
I think if I'd been the attacker, I still wouldn't have done it. But I would have been more tempted. As it was, the significance of not being the attacker was that there's another activation where the unpack spreads out a bit more.
So your markers, your TNs are less impactful.
Correct. I'm getting maybe one less model hit.
Yeah.
And my ability to trap him in his own deployment zone is less. So yeah, so I wussed out. I looked at the team and went, that's not the team I was anticipating. There's a lot of speed 7, not speed 5.
Yes.
And this was by no imagination an accident.
No, he spoke about that.
Grogdog read my cards. So I was sitting there thinking, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, I'm not going through that portal. So my plan B was I was going to use the Boilermaker to project the dragon forwards to intercept one of his markers.
Okay.
So one of the strat markers gets placed over the half. The dragon would then walk 7, teleport 8, grab his marker, and then move probably northwards away from the middle with the marker to just completely intercept it.
Can see that.
And then my worry, so Sovereign is a really interesting totem because Sovereign has fly with me. I think it needs a 10 because it needs a raise.
Yep.
But can potentially move Anya 3 times.
Yes.
And Anya is a very reliable murderer.
She is. She hits hard, don't she?
So it's a huge investment because you're looking at, probably you empower them, you hope to get 1 or 2 naturally, and you cheat 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But you can potentially redeploy Anya 18 inches.
Fair.
So my concern was that Anya would just hunt down my steel workers.
Yeah.
Because she 2-shots them.
Yeah.
And she can 2-shot them, then spend some stones to have another activation, and then kill another one.
Yes, she can.
And I was fairly comfortable that if we have a big fight in the middle, I'm going to win because I'm playing Foundry.
Yeah, fair.
But Anya has this hugely powerful marauding skirmisher game.
Yeah.
So we had this sort of slightly cautious first half of the term.
Nobody just threw their marcher in the middle of the field?
No.
Wow. I'm shocked.
I moved the Boilermaker up forwards, who dropped some markers, got a little bit of damage out, but that was more just to project my range of threat. So I was more setting up the dragon. Now, very interestingly, with maybe about 4 or 5 activations left, Corvus comes in.
Don't turn your back, serene countenance.
Engages, crucially, the dragon, but also May and Kang.
Fair.
Who were the 3 unactivated models I had. So I sort of go, okay, fair enough. Kang he gets lots of pos flips, and Kang auto pushes. So Kang hits Corvus, gets an attack through, pushes him out.
Nice.
Grogdor then commits the Brawler, who charges Corvus and uses
toss in the mud
to re-engage the dragon.
Throw him back in, go back.
So I'm not interacting after that.
Fair.
So we have a little bit of a fight in the middle. So the schemes, I was on public demo.
Okay.
And I ended up taking 6 stones.
Yeah.
So that's what's my list. My list was 3 steelworkers, the Boilermaker, Kang, the dragon. Then I was toss up between the 6-point lion with Don't Turn Your Back, or a metal gammon for 3 points.
Okay.
And I ended up taking the metal gammon because I wanted the 6 stones, not the 3 stones.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have the option to use May to score public demo by double summoning.
Nice.
So Grogdog set up detonate charges, and I had a final activation. May got 2 attacks through, summons 2 gammon. Both the gammon use their action to remove the markers.
How? But they're summoned.
Because they have a tactical action that removes a marker.
Outrageous. Is this more 10 Thunder summons that can remove ski markers?
Well, they are even more unfair than I actually played them.
Right.
So I just used the tactical action that just removes a ski marker.
Fair.
Which is reasonably fair.
Pretty good.
But you can stone to remove... So Mei Fang has an ability where she can stone to prevent a token being applied. Now, because it prevents it being applied, not removes, it gets around the clause of summons. So obviously summon tokens cannot be removed, but you can prevent it being applied all you like.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know this for the entirety of our game, so
that's good knowledge for listeners out there.
So interestingly, if I had spent 4 stones instead of the 2 that I did, I could have removed the slow and the I still wouldn't have got me both. So what I should have done is remove the slow on one of them, so that one could move to engage Anya, and remove his marker, which would then score me public demo as well.
Only public for 1. Did you have a scheme down?
No, oh God, no. Nobody can interact because there's corners.
Fair.
So I wouldn't have been able to. I possibly could have summoned him in a way that he could have then removed the slow and the summon, so that he could have dropped the scheme, but I don't know.
Fair.
Would have been a lot of stones. But either way, so as it was, I didn't score public demo, but I prevented him scoring detonate charges.
Useful.
So, and I'd got a reasonable amount of, and then I dropped 7 scrap markers, whatever it was, with May. No, I don't think I did, because Kang hit, and then May needed to make 2 to then remove to make metal gammon.
Yeah.
So I dropped some, but nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
Anya came in as well, and we had a big fight in the middle. So I was like, okay, fine. Now...
So Anya didn't go wide?
Anya didn't go wide. Anya came into the middle.
So were you sitting there with your laptop cheering away happily?
I was relatively happy, yeah.
Or relieved, perhaps?
So there's a few things here that are really, really important to talk about. So Corvus Rook is a really interesting model. So he's 9 points.
Yep.
He has 11 health.
Yeah, sounds right.
He has only got defense 5, but he has Serene Countenance. Now, I had no Ruthless, so I couldn't ignore this.
Yeah.
Now, Serene Countenance means you cannot cheat against him.
It
so
does.
an 11 health model with don't
12
turn,
health, in fact.
12 health with don't turn your back. Now, even though you're defense 5, you also can cheat defensively.
Yes.
So if they flip a 10, you can flip a 12 in to prevent that 3 or 4 damage or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, if Corvus Rook had come in turn 3 or 4, I wouldn't have attacked him.
Okay.
Because you cannot guarantee to kill him.
Yeah.
You just need to make attacks into him and wait to flip high and see how long it takes for you to kill him.
Yeah.
Now, by putting him in to turn 1, by having don't turn your back, the dragon then sort of shrugged nonchalantly and went, well, I'm not scoring anyway, so I guess I'll just hit you.
Yeah.
He was speed 7, so he was relatively resistant to the shockwaves. But by committing him turn 1, he lost quite a lot of health. He was down to maybe 4 or 5 health turn 1.
Oh, wow.
Which then means going into turn 2, it becomes worth me hitting him.
Absolutely.
Because I can hope to kill him.
Yeah.
Now, when you go into those last activations of a game, an 11 health Corvus is unkillable.
Yeah.
Because you just cannot commit the resources. Well, otherwise, if he doesn't have Serene Countenance and you've got a 13 and a 12 in hand, and you go, okay, I'll go in, I'll force the damage through.
Yeah.
But having him on full health, I mean, obviously every model having high health is good, but Corvus specifically, having high health in a boundary dispute mission is so valuable.
Yeah.
So being able to take him down to 4 or 5 health meant strategically that threat was somewhat neutralised for the game.
Okay.
It also meant that I was in a position to start getting the efficiency of my shockwaves because I was hitting 3 or 4 models. I was hitting Anya, I was hitting Corvus, and I was hitting the Brawler.
Yep.
And okay, the Brawler reduces a bit of damage and there's a bit of armour, but I don't care because I'm dropping so many.
Yeah.
And there's also a huge amount of hazardous and the damages. Now, so end of turn 1, I lost the strat. Neither of us scored any schemes, so
Okay.
I was 1-0 down.
Fair. And it should be fine. Every time you remove a scrap marker as well, don't you do a ping
I
damage?
do ping damage.
And
so again,
that
having them
includes
clumped up.
It's great.
Well, yeah, so once I have 5 scrap markers down and I make a 6th scrap marker, I now have to remove a marker.
Which triggers
it. So I then do 1 automatic damage to everyone within 1 inch of that marker. Which, if there's multiple people clumped together, it's a lot of damage.
Really impactful.
So, I think Grog described it as a cheese grater.
Yes, I can see that.
But, I mean, I was absolutely thrilled that Anya was in the middle of the board. Because my skill workers could kind of strut around the board. So turn 2, I took Assassinate on Anya.
Yep.
Spoilers, I got it to 1 health.
Oh!
So I got it to 2 health. And then I used my metal steel worker to remove one of my scrap markers manually.
Yeah,
just
slamming
walking over and slamming it, which took it to 1. But then the metal gammon's tactical action can't remove at range my own marker. It can only remove enemy markers.
Aww.
Otherwise, that would have got her. But I got Corvus down to 1 health on Hazardous very quickly.
Nice.
He activated the Brawler because he felt the Brawler wasn't going to activate otherwise.
Fair.
Corvus did get to activate but had to shield for his first action.
So he doesn't just die.
So he doesn't die from Hazardous. Corvus then died. So Grogdog felt he hadn't committed enough resources to the cheese grater, so threw Winston in as well.
Ooh.
So he went. So I'm being mean. So he scored very early, grave robbing off my own scrap marker.
Nice.
With Anya killing one of my metal gammon.
Okay.
So scored grave robbing. I was then man marking the corpses.
Nice.
Winston had to come in with "Don't mind me"
to pick up
the corpses.
Gotcha.
But it took all of his actions to teleport into the middle, pick up the corpses.
And now he's in the middle of the cheese grater.
He's now in the middle of the cheese grater. So the end of turn 2, I had the Grogdog where I wanted him, with me 4-1 down.
Right.
But I'm being slightly facetious, but the key thing here was there's a huge difference between my markers being in my deployment zone or them being on the edge of the middle that have just been put out. And we've talked about impactful activations, those top of turn, end of turn, most valuable resources, and his mobility resources, his skirmishing, his sovereign. So Sovereign and the Bellhop Porter played a lot of scenario and had been playing. So I had all 3 of my markers down on the south.
Yep.
The dragon did steal one of his markers turn 2.
Perfect.
And that kind of isolated it. And then he had 2 of his markers over the halfway line. So we did score this point turn 2, and he scored. So he scored Grave Robbing for 2. And scored the strat again.
Yeah, and you scored nothing.
I scored 1 for Assassinate.
Oh, you scored 1 for Assassinate,
so I was now 4-1 down. But my markers were in a position where once I have control, it's going to cost me a couple of AP to get them over, and then they're never going back.
Yeah.
So at the end of turn 2, Irina burnt Winston Finnegan to death because they were both on fire and base to base. So they did 2 damage to each other. So Winston died, Anya died. So Anya died turn 3.
Yeah, top of 3.
Top of 3. So she did activate and set up. So going into turn 3, Anya tried to set up Runic Binding.
Okay.
And I had to use my master to do a really lame activation. No, it wasn't my master, but it was a really lame activation of I'll just go and remove some ski markers.
Fair.
There was a key black joker here, which meant that one of the ski markers didn't get placed. And I think had the black joker not been black jokered, I'd have had to use May to have them activations to be able to, all 4 AP effectively, to be able to remove enough to prevent the Runic Binding. But yeah, so at this point, it was down to very few models. The dragon, I was concerned about being man-marked by an operative, so dropped the schemes early for Scout the Rooftops.
Okay.
I didn't realise that those type of barrels were destructible, so the operative slammed the barrels.
So could you have leapt to a different, far safer piece?
So the dragon was in between 2 terrain pieces.
Okay.
Both of them were over the halfway line.
Okay.
I dropped 2 on one and 1 on the other. I could have dropped 2 on the non-destructible one, and I dropped 2 on the destructible one.
Right.
So after being slammed, I only had 1 left.
Awkward.
So the steel worker at the end of the turn was able to go 16 and drop 1, which got me a point. But the key thing here was having won the middle. May was man marking one of his markers to prevent it being pushed forwards.
Nice.
The dragon had kidnapped the other one, so he only had 1 marker in play. And it was a fight between a metal gammon and steelworker versus Sovereign and the Bellhop Porter.
Yep.
Boilermaker walked charge Sovereign. Sovereign's only defense 4.
Is he really?
Yeah. And he'd taken a bit of damage from the sort of just fight down on the south.
Yeah.
So Boilermaker one-shot Sovereign, dragged and activated Bellhop Porter off the markers, and then the Steelworker and the Gammon just went and scored or interacted 3 times.
Nice.
So at that point, the strat markers were over. Going into turn 4, he had 1 operative, the Bellhop Porter, and the Rifleman left.
Oh.
and I'd lost one steelworker.
There's not a lot of models left.
No, so he gentlemanly didn't play the 4th turn.
Fair.
So I would have scored Leave Your Mark, which obviously wasn't going to be prevented, and because I had the activations to just at that point do what I wanted.
Yeah.
So he was capped at 4, and then I scored. Was it
4 more?
4.
Double points for Foundry and 2 points for Scheme.
Yeah, so I went 4-3 turn 3.
So 7-4.
7-4. Yeah.
Very nice.
So there's some really interesting things to talk about. I think I'm going to draw a parallel here to what you did in terms of you committing to your plan.
Yep.
And I think Grog Dog identified the significance of being able to run Corvus in to shut down the emissary, which then prevented me interacting turn 1. But I think I don't want to say it was a bad play because it obviously had a huge outcome and gave him a lot of points. And I think he said that he felt he needed to commit Anya and Winston to be able to score the points. But I think the only reason he had to commit them to score the points was because he'd already committed to that path.
Yeah.
And if you play into Fang Foundry, you don't commit all of your expensive models and stand next to each other and ask to be pinged to death.
Yeah.
And he did have some quite scary tools for me. That Anya herself, Sovereign, could potentially be really problematic. I don't really want to go into what I would have done had he played the flanks, because obviously the Boilermaker does give me some utility.
Nice bit of movement.
I wasn't going to just capitulate, but it was nice being able to play the game how I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And it meant that my shockwaves were hitting 3 or 4 people at once rather than 1. Now, I think in terms of Mei Fang, her issue is that the shockwaves need time to work.
Yeah.
They can't just go, I'll go activation, remove a model.
No, top of turn. And we had this, last edition, I tried a few Shockwave crews, and Wong in particular. I loved Wong in M3. And I loved top of turn. You go with Wong and you drop 1,000 markers. But they have the cards in hand just to cheat the really important jewels they need, and you don't actually remove anyone.
You get damage 3, but even if you do 4 damage to 5 different models,
that's
not removed any activations.
No.
And so I think, had I been playing Anya, I would have probably left Sovereign to the penultimate activation.
Okay.
Flied with me twice with Anya.
Yep.
Tried to kill 1 or 2 steelworkers with Anya.
Yeah.
And then after that point, never have any of my models within 5 inches of another model.
Yeah, that's fair.
And at that point, the shockwaves now are hitting 1 model at a time. And she's quite limited in what she can do comparatively. The summons are really cool. The summoning the Metal Gammon, especially if they can interact.
Yeah.
And it then becomes a sort of quite an edgy skirmishing game. I think rather than locking down my models with Don't Turn Your Back with Corvus, had he moved the operative up to standard man mark the marker that I was going after with the dragon,
would have achieved
the same thing.
But a lot safer.
So I think, nicely for the theme of the episode, I think was Grog Dog to play this game again, looking at his initial plan, and his initial point did score him 4 points. I'm not saying it didn't, but I don't think it reliably got him the win.
Yeah, could he have scored those 4 points differently?
Could he have scored the 4 points differently? Could he have, even going 1-0 up on Boundary, but not scoring the scheme, but not letting me score the scheme, but you haven't taken 8 damage to Corvus.
Yeah.
And then if you can go into turn 3 with Corvus on full health, it then becomes an absolute nightmare for me to try and move him.
Yep.
So in some ways I think May was very limited in that she does one thing really well, and that she possibly does the second thing really well because of the Boilermaker.
Yeah.
I think if I don't have the Boilermaker and he plays the flanks, it's over.
You're in trouble.
Because I just can't. I can redeploy my resources inefficiently, and then when I do, I can't, if he just runs away again
Yeah.
and refuses to be clumped up, I don't have any way of efficiently doing enough work. And okay, Kang and Mei are min 3, but that's not enough on their own.
Yeah.
Especially if his beaters threaten them or create one-on-one fights. And Anya is far killier than Mei is.
Yeah. Min 4, effectively.
Yeah, she's a monster and can double activate, so you kill a metal gamin, double activate.
Did he double activate her much?
I don't think he did. Am I lying? Can she double activate? Or was that the other one?
No, so the crew card says once per turn, after this model kills a non-peon enemy, it may drain 2 stones. If it does, it gains a slow token when it ends its activation, and it may choose to activate 1 additional time this turn.
Yeah, so I think I would have been a lot more uncomfortable for the whole of the game had he been playing a very mobile hit-and-run skirmishing game.
Yeah.
And possibly not have scored the 4 points as quickly, but retained the model advantage to be able to compete turn 3 and 4.
Because surely he does that, and then you go Bellhawk Pull to remove the slow, and then you get an Anya taking 2 activations a turn.
Yeah, exactly. But even if you possibly don't, because Anya's going to be so far away, because she's behind enemy lines, murdering. I think Grogdog played the game plan that he played really well. I don't think it was the right game plan.
Fair.
And I think that meant that I had the tools to do what I needed to do, but actually I'm not sure I would play Foundry again, because I don't like playing crews where you are reliant on them to run into the cheese grater.
Fair.
And strangely, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Because it's there, it needs to be attacked. But if you play into May Foundry, don't leave your models within 5 of each other. Try and have some out of activation movement to move your pieces out if they try and kidnap them. Hunt down the steel workers, murder them, and if you can take their activations off them, they don't have a huge amount of really impactful activations.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think that covers most things.
Your ban list, were you affected at all?
No, because why would you ban anything in Lady J's keyword?
Would you have taken the Nightcrawler network in Lady J?
Probably. I mean, on Boundary, probably. To be fair, but so I was trying to stick purely in keyword.
Okay.
So I was actively trying to stay in keyword.
Fine. And would Lady J be played again?
Well, I let her down. She didn't let me down. But my personal preference, her crew isn't a crew that I would naturally pick. We've spoken before, I much prefer to be very aggressive with schemes and strats. She doesn't have any real scheme runners. She doesn't have her killers, her 9 and 10 point murderers are not really murderers because they all only have 2 attacks.
Well, the judge would have had 3 attacks after turn 1.
After turn 1 when I promote her. But yeah, it's odd. She's got an odd keyword, and yeah,
probably certainly rewards lots of reps.
I think you need a lot of reps to get the corpse markers in the right place and the right positioning. Yeah, it was odd. She's odd. I'd certainly need to play her a lot more times to, I think, get good with her or get even competent. But the crew doesn't appeal to me as much as other crews.
Lovely. So to conclude, it's really important to have a plan.
Yep.
Be prepared to cancel that plan.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to change your plan.
And in terms of perhaps more advanced play, understanding your opponent's crew is a really important skill to be able to determine whether you need to adapt, whether you are the aggressor or you're not, and where their weaknesses are to exploit.
So get more reps in, get more games in, lose plenty of games, and try and have fun while you do it.
See you next time.
Bye.